Well, I thought that the guys really did a good job. I think our scout team started with the scout team really working hard in the special teams area, and then it bled over into offense, defense. And right now there's not a lot of the substitutions for our scout team right now. A lot of guys are having to suck it up the whole time. They're doing a good job. I hope y'all at least make a little mention of the scout team working hard, because everybody's got a role to play on this team, and if it's scout team, you got to do it well. And Tuesdays, Wednesdays are your day. I just want to know everybody know I appreciate the job they did today. But anyway, I'll answer questions that y'all have. Is that a small camera too? Nice tripod.
What do you expect for $10?
I'm actually talking about his tripod.
Oh, okay. My bad.
His right there.
Mine's not much better.
Yours is working.
Yeah. Stand with it.
You noticed us noticing the O lineman.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? That was good. You guys had it like that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, look at these guys right here in front of me.
Did they look as good when we left, or?
They did okay. They didn't go very long, but they practiced. We didn't want these to get anything more than scout team work anyway. So.
How was Malcolm moving around? Malcolm Mitchell in your mind moving out there?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm encouraged. I'm not certain that he's full speed, but it's Wednesday. I mean, I'm encouraged. We got a couple more days to go yet to see, but he got scout work.
You know, yeah, you're going to take him with you on the trip.
Oh yeah. Coach Grantham might be mad, but yeah, we're taking. Might be mad that I'm saying it, not that he's coming.
Okay.
No more injury questions. I can't answer anymore.
The first guy that came in behind Theus, right?
Sorry. What's that?
The first dude that came in behind Theus on Saturday was Ward, and it seems like every time we've asked about Ward, you've always said, "Well, we hope he's coming along,
right.
But we're not sure if he's ever going to be."
It's a physical issue, coming off of his ACL injury, and you could tell it still bothers him. You could tell that he's not. I would say he's probably not full speed, but when the ball snapped, he goes, and he seems to be progressing. I don't know if he's hardly missed a rep the entire camp, so that's very encouraging. And again, the other thing about him is, I like the length of his arms and his height and his. He seems to be a very conscientious guy. But I don't know if he's ready to. I don't know if he's ready to play a game like this.
Is he the lead guy in your contingency plan?
I don't know. I really don't know. We are mixing and matching and trying to find some answers.
That also includes.
That's one of the possibilities.
That also includes long beard. I mean, who?
Yeah, long beard. Yeah, we're working those guys both.
And I think you spoke about the noise factor a little yesterday. As far as pertains to the young offensive lineman like David at center, how
David
concerned
probably
you about
affects
that
the
as
center
far as
the
that?
least. He's the closest one to quarterback and can usually hear the cadence pretty good. And it's those tackles that really struggle with it the most, trying to hear the quarterback. And so a guy like this, if he's able to go, I would think it'd be something new for him. He's never gone through anything like that. He's been in some big stadiums and some all-star games or something. I don't think they were full of excited fans. So not enough to create the noise he's gonna hear this weekend.
And we'll try to simulate some stuff at the stadium tomorrow with the crowd noise and all that. Or?
I think we're gonna go. I think we're just gonna do it here.
No.
Because we can still get noise. We think we get enough noise with the speaker system we have, and we can stay on the turf because we want to play on the field turf. And it does just saves time out of their lives. If you go bus there and back, you probably had 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to their day, just kind of getting organized, getting in there, riding back. So we're trying to be mindful of their time as well.
You don't do a walkthrough at the opposing stadium, do you? Friday?
We haven't done a walkthrough on a Friday at any opponent stadium. You know, we'll do walkthroughs on Friday and all, and you know, we might even get in their stadium, but if we do, it won't be to do any kind of walkthroughs, just to kind of take a look and maybe put your cleats on and get a feel for the.
Does he do that sometimes?
Get a feel for the place. Yeah, every once in a while. But we don't do anything that would constitute scheme. That's, you know, if somebody happened to be watching in somebody's stadium, I just have a hard time doing that.
To what extent will you or the players see anything of the University of Missouri or the campus or anything? Or is it just hotel, ballroom, bus, stadium concourse?
Yeah, you know, if we, in order to do that, you'd have to miss class Friday. Really, you'd have to leave pretty early on Friday and you know, do something like that for an hour or so, hour or two. And a lot of times, you know, the goal is just to get them off their feet. You want to get them out a little bit because they've taken a trip, but if you're on your feet doing a tour, if you're doing a walking tour for an hour or so, it's just one more thing to make them tired, so we want to kind of keep them fresh.
Is Morgan, did his performance last week kind of settle him as your guy going forward, a kicker?
Well, extra point field goal right now, I would say he's pretty solid there, and he kicked off well. But Jamie Lindley, I don't know if you noticed, he had the last kick, and he drove it right out of the end zone, and so he impressed us, and I wouldn't count Jamie out for having an opportunity to kick somewhere along the way. It could be any given game, throughout. I mean, we don't have a rotation set or anything like that, but he impressed us with that kick, and he's kicked well in practice too. So I think Lindley's, and I was mentioning Lindley all along, but we did give Marshall the first shot at it, and he kicked off well because it was a closer competition for the kickoff than it was the extra point field goal. And so Lindley's very good kickoff guy for us.
You were talking about Missouri's receivers yesterday. I want to ask you about one of your receivers, Juarez, in terms of what your expectation is for him for this season.
Well, I want him to lead. I want him to lead every day in practice. I want him to, be a playmaker. I want him to be a guy that we can go to when it counts the most. And I mean, he won't be the only guy that we go to in those situations, but he's a veteran. He's a senior. This is his time. This is his last time. It's Marlon's last time too, and kind of expect the same from Marlon. And unfortunately, Marlon, had the hamstring pull, and he's doing well now. But I kind of have the same expectation from Marlon that I do TK, even though TK's he's caught more balls and he's got more yards in his career, but Marlon is a pretty darn good player too, and a veteran.
Do you believe in having a number one? Obviously, we had AJ. That's a number one receiver.
We're not as inclined to just say we must get this guy the ball. But I'll say this: we got a lot of faith in TK, Marlon, Michael Bennett, Wooten, Michael. I said Bennett, and then Chris Conley. Those five really, to me, stand out. To where I got a lot of faith in all those guys. The other guys are gaining our faith. I still think they're good enough to get in the game. I still think they should get opportunities. But those other guys have just been more solid in how they practice, and how they block, and how they reach out and snatch the ball. I mean, they're ahead of the other guys right now.
How was Ken Malcolm able to grip the ball with that hand that was banged up a little bit?
I didn't ask him. But he's mostly holding it in his other hand.
Is he? Yeah. Doesn't make much difference for him either way. Yeah.
Well, a back, historically, those guys are used to holding it in either hand, but there's usually a dominant side. But he's had enough reps where even if he held it in one side, I'd feel comfortable with him playing.
Will everyone who travels be eligible to play?
Oh,
In other
yeah,
words?
yeah.
When's that travel roster gonna be ready?
Friday about, Saturday about,
7:30.
about 7:30 Saturday, we can have that out, is that what it is? Yeah, if you request it now, you'll get it by Saturday about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, halftime by then.
Theus and Dantzler, are they like Malcolm
Pregame
Mitchell? Will you take Theus and
I'm
Dantzler?
sorry, say it again?
Will you take Theus and Dantzler?
Well, we hope so. We're not 100%. If we don't think they can play or help, we don't. I think there's no chance. We're not. If we left today, I'm not sure we'd have both of them. I'm not sure we would or wouldn't, but we got a couple more days yet. But we're hoping they are.
You talked a little bit about Austin Long. What do you see his role being throughout this season?
Well, you know what? We want him to fight for playing time. We want him to fight for an opportunity to start. He may start this game. He may. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. And if he doesn't start, it may not be long before he's in there, depending on how everybody holds up. If let's say Theus gets in there and he guts it out for him a while, but he can't go anymore, then who's going in? And whoever that is, if it's Austin, you got to prove that you can do it. You got to prove that you can do it. And sometimes that's how guys win jobs. That's how they earn playing time. They get thrown in there and they probably wouldn't have got thrown in there based on what's happened in practice and all that. But all of a sudden they get in the game and they perform. And then all of a sudden the coach says, you know what, I think he can do it. So he just got to always keep preparing for the moment that when he does get his chance, he shows Coach Friend and Coach Bobo and myself that he's ready.
Is O-line one of the harder positions to project success at the next level? I can't.
When you say next level, high school to college?
High school to college. I mean, I can think of so many
that's part of it.
6'7", 290-pound guys that just didn't make it. They're
I think a
injury
big part of
prone.
it is a lot of them are just, they do dominate the competition in high school. A lot of guys dominate the competition in high school. And then, but when they get around these bigger, stronger, faster athletes, somewhere along the way, some of them just can't get it done. And so, I'll say this though: if a lineman has a good talent base and he is, smart enough to figure it out and is diligent with his technique, he can play. Guys with lesser ability can play at that position, in my opinion, than any spot on the field. Because if you know what to do and you got some attitude and you perfect your techniques, you can play. You can play there. So that's everybody's challenge right now.
Got time for one more?
Coach, what's the reason you've been so comfortable describing this as a monster game, the biggest game of the season, instead of using
It
kind
is
of the
the
typical?
biggest game.
Well, I mean, just instead of the typical coach speak, like we treat every game the same. We're taking it one week at a time, et cetera, et cetera.
It's. I mean, if it was a year ago and we're playing South Carolina right now, that's a monster game. Every time we play in the SEC, it's a monster game to me because you're trying to go back to Atlanta. Everybody's in the race to Atlanta. It's not fun to be behind looking up and losing the driver's seat, so to speak. You want to stay in the driver's seat as long as you can. So I mean, let's face it. It is historic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first game in the history of their school, Southeastern Conference game, the whole college football world's going to be watching, and so it's big for that reason too.
I wish the coaches and the players had been as honest as you. 'Cause all the other ones are giving me the typical line about it being the same as every other game.
Well, I mean, it is the same in that when the ball's kicked off, and then when the ball's kicked off, everybody's got to do their job. So and that may be in terms of what they're talking and think. Because the reality is, if they think about that as historic, it's really not going to help them. What's going to help them is knowing what to do when the ball snaps. So that's what they're focusing on. They did a good job.